Hello there, good afternoon, and a massive welcome to the channel. The addiction today is 30 minutes farms, and are they possible for making gold? So go grab a drink and get comfy and let's find out. In previous videos I have shown you how to decide what farm you should be running and how to farm them taking advantage of what the zone has to offer. I have even shown you how it's possible to make gold with only 1 hour available to you and not a single transmog sold. Well, this got me thinking which hurt, and I have decided to challenge myself to see if it is possible to make gold in WoW with only 30 minutes of farming allowed. Farming for only 30 minutes for maximum profits is not like your standard farming due to the time limit being against you. Normal farming you can make mistakes and not worry, as it will not affect you or what you are doing, where farming for 30 is a different ball game full stop, and actually needs some thinking and forward planning before we can start. Allow me to explain. Farming in general has a lot of different types of farms we can do, from dungeon farms to vendor flips, from rep items to raw gold farms. The list is quite big. But when it comes down to only farming for 30 minutes and to make some good gold while doing so needs the right farm that is current and profitable. So how do you pick one? I first start by checking the auction house and WoW price hub history on items I have previously sold. Over time you will come to learn the individual prices and what they tend to sell for on average on your own server. As an example on screen now are Cobra scales. Last week these was over 220 gold per one, but as you can see by the graph they are slowly dropping in price. Still worth the farm for now, but this is something to watch if you farm these often. Now over time you will not need to rely so much on WoW price hub for prices, as you will just see them change with experience. One of the main rules you must follow when farming is to always check your auction house first before you start any farm. Make sure it's worth your time no matter how long you spend there. This is more important if you have seen the farm on YouTube, as what works for them may not work for you, so double check beforehand. Once you have checked and compared the market price on items you mainly farm for, next we need to pick and plan a farm, as we have only 30 minutes to obtain as much potential profit as possible. That limits us to a number of viable farming methods and types. Crafts and vendors flips are not reliable as you're dependent on sales within the time frame. You may think auction flips would work, and honestly they could do, but extremely risky and not advised to be fair. Mount farms could also work, but this is heavily relies on you having some major good luck when farming them and trying to sell them afterwards. Again, nothing wrong with these farms at all, just not what we are looking for in our allotted time. So these are the viable choices we are left with. So starting with raw gold farms, I am not a fan of these type of farms. Yes, they are easy and simple, but let's be honest now. The amount of gold you can obtain in a 10-run lockout from freehold is nothing compared to what other types of farms can make you, and in the same time if not less. Raw gold farms are 100% a player's choice. You either like them or you do not, it's that simple. Optimized raw gold farms in freehold and the motherlode can be 4 to 6k raw gold after a 10-run lockout, and an average 6 minutes per run with vendoring everything. The first viable choice on the list would be raids and dungeon farms, but before we pick it's vital to understand how the dungeon and raid lockout system works in WoW, and to be able to use and take full advantage of this system, maximizing run counts within. Raids and dungeons in WoW share the same account-wide lockout, and the maximum number of runs you are allowed to do is 10 within a 1 hour time frame. To optimize a 1 hour farm and to be able to get the full 10-run lockout, you do not want any run lasting longer than 6 minutes max. This is simple math. 6 times 10 is 60 minutes. And for a 30-minute farm, you do not want your runs lasting longer than 3 minutes max. Again, simple maths. 3 times 10 is 30 minutes. Let's say you just finished your first run of a dungeon farm. As soon as you leave the instance you start a 1 hour cooldown timer. Now when you finish your second run of the farm you start a new 1 hour cooldown timer, and so on. This is important to understand because if you are doing 30-minute farms, it's possible to overlap cooldown timers, allowing you to farm a maximum of 10 runs in 30 minutes. And then only having to wait a further 30 minutes before the first run's cooldown has dropped off. Unfortunately, I cannot decide what farm you should run. It's not that simple. prices on my auction house can be extremely different to the prices on yours. But wanting to get the most out of a dungeon farm, we need to pick one that we can do in under 3 minutes or less per run. On screen now is just a small selection of raids and dungeons I run on a daily basis you can do in under 3 minutes, which includes all the loot and skinning. Optimizing maximum speed and profits in the shortest amount of time possible. The idea of a dungeon or raid farm is to clear as much trash as possible, while gaining the maximum amount of potential profits within the allotted time frame, 3 or 6 minutes. I like to consider the 3-minute run speed farming, which have no room for mistakes or you're just wasting gold profits. There are many viable farms you can do, from the optimized Fireland Savage Leather Farm to Sethek Hall's Corium Ore Farm, or Blackwing Lair for Scales. Depending on market prices, you have a lot of different options with raid and dungeon farms. Plus most if not all of them will have a multi-farm attached for extra profits and can be run at the same time. With the examples on screen you will notice that some total profits for the farms are low. This is mainly due to these farms being reagent-based farms and players undercutting. So I tend to still run this farm as they take no time at all and just save them in my guild banks until the prices are better. But the amount of reagents you can obtain overall from this method of farming is a lot better than open world reagent farming, and is best used to obtain a good amount in the shortest time possible. When I finish a Fireland Savage Leather Farm, which take 28 minutes give or take, I generally walk away with around 720 leathers. Now please tell me if there is a faster way to gain that amount in that time. All these dungeons have been in my daily routine for months now, and overall the Burning Crusade has been the best expansion in my own opinion for making gold for ages. The prices on some items do jump a lot, but knowing when to sell and hold is the key and will earn you a lot if you are just a little patient. Sometimes it's good to sell items right away, other times it's a good idea to sit on them until prices rise, player's choice of course. But with farming, what is there extra days if you know you can get double the gold if you just wait? I only mention dailies as some players will say they are good. If you look at the picture, every single world quest and daily will only net you 6.6k on this day and average between 6 to 8k gold. Now if you can complete them in 30 minutes is another question altogether. This method is an option I guess, just not a good one to be fair. So we have 3 viable options left that I shall group together, because that are very similar with only a handful of factors making them different, like items and locations. But open world farms, multi-farms and rep items farms are by far the best way for obtaining gold in a short amount of time. Reasons behind this thinking are simple. Rep item have good sell rates and prices and always sell within 24 hours or less. The reagents you can obtain are exactly the same and most times they're more than just one. And then you have all the green drops and rares, making it a multi-farm. And again, the Burning Crusade being extremely good for this, as most zones will have rep items with good prices just waiting to be farmed by you. Zanger Marsh, Teroka Forest and Nagran being the best zones in TBC for rep items and have made me some serious gold over the years with these farms. Linked to every rep item farm is a multi-farm, where you are able to increase your overall profits from either skinning and mining to fishing and herbs, not forget the world drops and mogs. Here are all the items worth farming when doing rep item farms, as these items can quickly add up, improving your profits. The rep items and reagents you see on screen now are just from 3 zones in TBC with the potential to make you some crazy gold. Just use your head when deciding which ones to go for and when to sell. Currently I have stopped selling all reagents until the new patch day. Too many players are killing time and trying farming, which is bringing the prices down on a lot of key farming items at the moment, but that will change come Wednesday. After tests and filming, this is what I was able to obtain doing only 30-minute farms like you have just seen. All these items are viable and will sell within 24 to 36 hours on my server, and I may need to replace once depending on when I post them. Either way, this is just another method available to you and my own opinion on how to do them. My methods seem to work for me. Why not you? This is how I would run a 30-minute farm and profit. Thank you so much for watching, and I really do hope you found this useful in some way or another. Please do remember to hit that like and subscribe button. The community is growing so fast thanks to you lovely people, and I am so grateful. So, it's been fun as always, but I shall leave you to your peace. Have an amazing week everyone, and most importantly stay safe.